Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be talking about something I've not yet done on this channel, which is talk about an individual stock that has caught my eye. That stock is GAN, ticker symbol GAN, and it is at its core a software as a service provider for the gambling space. If you're ready to jump into this one, I'm ready. Let's go. As mentioned in the introduction, today we're going to be talking all about a single stock, and that company is GAN, ticker symbol GAN, name GAN, GAN. It sounds weird, it is weird, just GAN, GAN, GAN. It's going to mess with my head as I'm going through this video. GAN, though, it is a software as a service, a SaaS provider, and that's all it does. It doesn't really do any hardware, it doesn't do any physical operations. It is a software as a service provider to the gambling space. Well, what that means is they offer basically turnkey solutions for casinos or for anyone really that wants to set up a place for people to gamble online. That means anything from slot machines to blackjack games to roulette games. GAN offers it all. They even just acquired a sportsbook provider, Coolbet, and in 2021 they'll be integrating that into their platform. So really, anyone could come along and say, hey GAN, I want to set up a casino, help me out, and GAN can help them from the ground up. Now, on that Coolbet acquisition, that brings us to one thing that I think you should be aware of, and that is that they did a secondary offering. There's several million shares at $15.50 a piece to be able to fund that acquisition. Now, this is both a good and a bad thing, at least in my eyes. As one, it does say that GAN is willing to dilute its investors. So they're willing to push more shares onto the market to get cash for themselves. But two, it shows that they are willing to divest that stock in order to make moves, right? So Coolbet was basically the final piece of the puzzle that GAN needed to be able to offer a full suite of gambling tools. And they went out there and they bought it without taking on debt. This company has no debt. They didn't take on debt. They instead asked the market, will you buy more shares, $15.50 a piece? The market said yes, it was oversubscribed. And so that $15.50, that really is like the base level valuation of this stock. Today it trades at around about $17 a share, so there's very limited downside based on that $15.50 price that was oversubscribed, that investors were willing to put in just a few months ago. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what GAN offers. So as I mentioned, it is essentially a turnkey provider for the casino market. Now, companies like Wynn are going to use GAN in its Michigan casino. So Wynn has a Michigan location. Michigan is legalizing online gaming. GAN is going to run Wynn Casino's online operations. A key piece of technology that GAN owns is the iBridge framework. This is a patented piece of technology that connects the physical location to the digital location. And it's the reason that a company like Wynn would partner with a company like GAN. So Wynn has its physical location. They have rewards cards. You go into the Wynn, you play blackjack, you earn points to comp stays or comp shows, meals, that sort of thing. GAN helps those casinos transfer those points to the online realm as well. So now that player that plays in the Wynn casino can play on the Wynn casino online, and their profile is the same in both places. No doubt consumers love this because, they can, if they're bored at home, they can hop on and play a couple of games of blackjack, and that same play earns them rewards at the casino that they maybe go to on the weekend. And also offers all those games too, and they offer a platform for game developers to put their games out there. It's all called GameStack. And this is, if you've ever played a casino online, GameStack is that casino, it's that front. Companies can modify it to suit their aesthetics, so Wynn can put their name on it. Another company that's going to be using GAN is Churchill Downs. So Churchill Downs can use the exact same thing that Wynn is using, the exact same games, the exact same customer support. Instead, it's going to have Churchill Downs branding, and Wynn's going to have their branding on the other side. GAN basically offers everything that a company needs to run a casino online. And this is beneficial whether they already have a physical location, whether they don't. If they have a physical location, though, it's even better because of that tie-in with the rewards from the physical to the digital realm. It's even better. Now, they offer these services around the world too. They offer them in Europe, where they're already pretty established. This is a UK-based company. They offer those services in Europe. They offer them in the United States as well, 2 states that have already legalized gambling. This is the key part, right? This is one of the big catalysts to growth. This is why this company is on my radar, is gambling isn't legal across the United States yet. GAN offers services in those states where online gaming is already legal. And there's going to be more states coming online in 2021 where they'll offer those same services. More in 2022 where they'll again offer those services. 2023 and onwards until the entire United States is legalized. That is going to take at least 5 years, maybe even more. And in the meantime, you've got countries like Canada that are legalizing single sport betting online. GAN will be there. You've got South America, which is also starting to legalize gambling, starting to become more prominent. GAN has said they will be there. So this is a truly worldwide market for this white label provider of these services. This really is the pickaxe. They said in the gold rush, you should be the one selling pickaxes. You shouldn't be the one running out to get the gold. And that is what GAN is. GAN is the one selling those pickaxes. Now, sure, the people aren't going to know GAN's name like they know DraftKings or FanDuel, but they will know of GAN's services if they play online at something outside of that DraftKings and FanDuel. If a person in Michigan plays the casino online, they're going to be using GAN software, they just wouldn't know it. So let's talk a little bit about the financials of GAN. I have them written down here, so I can just read them off. So GAN has trailing 12-month revenues of 36.95 million. That is pretty much nothing. So this company is trading around about 14 times sales at the time of recording. That's a pretty hefty amount. You got similar-ish companies like Scientific Games. That company makes the slot games that you see. Now, Scientific Games, they trade at about, I think, 1.5 times sales. So 14, 15-ish is definitely up there, but not as much as like a DraftKings that is trading at 45 times revenues. On that revenues front, though, the company is growing. The revenues, the 3 months ended September 30th, they were 10.27 million, up from 5.5 million the year prior. So that's more than 90% growth year over year. Over that 9-month period, GAN made 26.26 million in 2020 versus 19.28 million in 2019. Of course, though, this being a rapidly growing space and GAN needing to move fast to be the first to market in these states, they do lose money. So this year that was 4.1 million in third quarter. Massive gain over last year where they lost 1.69 million in that same third quarter. But as I mentioned earlier, and this is really a big key, GAN has no debt. They have about $57 million in cash on the balance sheet. They are somewhat well equipped to at least continue deploying out into additional states, continue growing that top line, and then eventually, as they stop needing to spend all that additional capital on bringing these new casinos online, they'll start to be rolling up that net income rather. So who's using GAN? What is like the market overview there? Well, like I mentioned, we've got Wynn, we've got Churchill Downs. Betfair uses GAN to run its entire online casino. And there's plenty of other casinos as well out there, like Borgata, they're going to be using GAN. There's Parks Casino. FanDuel use GAN for some things. Now, it was big in the news recently that FanDuel was not going to use GAN for some part of its technology, but they still do use GAN for certain parts. Other casinos like Live, WinStar, the station casinos use GAN. It seems that many casinos that have a physical location, they find at least some benefit to using GAN's technologies, and they become a customer. This slide here, this comes from GAN's investor deck. It is using data that's not from GAN though. It is this $30 billion estimated market size in the United States. This comes from different third-party researchers. What it says though is that GAN estimates their revenues will be about $500 million in the year 2030. 500 million, that's about 10x what it is today, but we've got to expect that sales multiple will come down. They're not going to be trading at 14 or 15x sales multiple in 2030. It's just unreasonable. are probably going to be more in line with regular casinos today, which is around about 3 or 4x. $500 million in revenues at a 4x multiple, that gives us around about a $2 billion company. And doing some quick math, just kidding, I did this on a calculator before the video, but that quick math comes out to around about a 15% growth rate year over year through 2030. Now, $500 million in 2030, that is just the United States. This company operates in Europe already. Like I said earlier in the video, they could go into Canada or South America. Maybe they start pushing up towards $1 billion in revenues in 2030, and that gives us, a $3-4 billion company, which today would be paying $500 million for. It's easily a 6x, 7x on your investment. It's worth mentioning that this is a speculative investment, right? GAN is very small today, making only $40 million in revenues a year, and I'm suggesting that they could hit upwards of $1 billion in the next 10 years. But while it is speculative, I think it errs on the good side of speculation. GAN already has a good list of customers. They've signed with Wynn for 10 years in Michigan. Wynn said as well they'll use them in other states if it's good. There's Churchill Downs, there's WinStar, all those different casino names that we saw earlier in the video. If GAN can continue capitalizing as new markets open, I don't think that speculation is really all that bad. Now, we should address the risks, as no investment in any company is completely risk-free. And for me, the biggest risk with investing in GAN is going to be that 14x sales multiple. But when I look at it from the point of view of a long-term buy and hold play, not a get rich quick, not a this is going to triple in 2021, but a long-term buy and hold over the next 5 to 10 years, I see GAN as recouping that investment. They will roll into these new markets, they'll pick up a couple of casinos, and they'll build that long-term base with those casinos. Maybe some of those casinos go bankrupt. Maybe FanDuel wipes the slate clean in some of these markets. But some of those casinos will last, and GAN will be the provider of technology for them. Second risk that is definitely worth being aware of with any company in this market is the regulatory risk. And for GAN, working across state lines, it becomes a little bit of a pickle, right? If New Jersey has different rules than Louisiana, that has different rules than Arizona, that has different rules than Washington State, someone's got to keep track of all those rules, and that becomes a pricey task, especially if those rules change frequently, which hopefully they don't, but you might have Washington changing a rule, and GAN has to now fix that technology to work with that rule, and maybe New Jersey does the complete opposite, and GAN's technology has to do the complete opposite in that state. Just something to be aware of. To wrap up the video though, I am considering a small speculative play in GAN as a long-term buy and hold, and I believe that it will be able to recoup that 14x sales multiple over time. It's got technology that casinos need, and the physical location linking to the digital location, that's a big one. As states like Louisiana begin to legalize gambling, Louisiana is a big market for Texans going over and gambling, but if a casino like LaBerge, that's a brand that's right there on the border between Texas and Louisiana, if that casino wants to make sure it keeps those Texan customers connected to it in some way, then using GAN's technology could be very beneficial for them. And I think we see stories like that play out throughout the entire United States as states begin to legalize. I also think we see similar things play out in Canada, and while I don't know the South American market, hey, it's an additional market that GAN could capture a couple of $100 million in revenue in over time. So I see that $15.50 that they did on the secondary offering, I see that as sort of a base level valuation. There's been big demand for the company at that price. It's trading right now, as I record this video, around about $17 a share. That seems very fair to start dollar cost averaging into it, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, that's my thoughts on GAN, and as I begin thinking about dollar cost averaging into this stock, I'd love to know what you think. Leave some thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to read them and maybe start a discussion about this stock or any other stock in the gambling space. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave that thumbs up below. It helps the YouTube algorithm start recommending these videos so I can maybe get over 100 views. Woo! And consider subscribing too. There's a subscribe button below. I would love you forever, and I definitely appreciate all the support. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.